Sure. I'm Marissa Holmes from Occupy Wall Street, New York.
I'm 숀케리에, Occupy Wall Street, New York. Well, it's actually, you said changing the subject, but it's actually somewhat connected because nobody can speak for other people, and we don't say that because because we're against it ideologically. It's because it's a fact that we recognize that leaders don't speak for other people. They don't, even though their government claimed to represent the people. Barack Obama doesn't represent all Americans. He doesn't speak. Although he gets on a stage and speaks for America as the president of the United States, he doesn't speak for he doesn't really represent the people. That system of representative government doesn't actually represent the will and the voice of the people. And so in the Korean Peninsula, you might have two nations at war. And I mean, being somewhat aware of some of the issues and the nuanced critiques of the Korean situation, I mean, you could say a lot about what are the issues that they're disputing over, but really it's a war between governments. I mean, the Iraq War is a war of the U.S. government against a regime, and the people are the ones who suffer. It's not a war of the American people against the Iraqi people. This is a falsehood that's been written through history, that people go to war with people. It's just governments go to war with governments, and it's people who pay the price.
If the United States was serious about nuclear disarmament, then they would disarm themselves, right? I mean, the U.S. is the greatest military power that the world has ever known. It has the ability to bomb the world 6-7 times over, right? So it's just hypocrisy to make those kinds of statements, for the U.S. government and representatives of the U.S. government to make those kinds of statements about North Korea.
And it's absolutely a result, as we all are in almost every country, the victims of state propaganda. I actually personally have an interest in the Korean situation and the effect of media and how that plays a role in our idea. Because the message that we get in America is almost too much propaganda to really be believed. We actually recently watched a documentary, a North Korean documentary about Western propaganda. It was very interesting, somewhat very eye-opening, but strange. But also many things kind of straight on about how governments use propaganda on their people, and it's the idea that we have and the message that we're fed in America is absolutely flat and one-dimensional about this North Korea just being evil and horrible and a menace and a threat to the world.
As an American who hates their government and the imperialist wars that it engages in, I sincerely hope that that the Korean people find peace and find a way to negotiate their own conflicts. And I want the U.S. to not intervene, obviously, and to stay out of these conflicts.
It's a real shame that in this in this continuing imperialist world, a colonializing nation like the United States that has imperialized and conquered the world and waged war on the people of the world. It's a real shame that very often the only solution that's proposed is U.S. intervention, NATO intervention in regional conflicts. It's really a shame. I'm against all U.S. intervention in foreign conflicts because I think it's up for people to decide. It's not up to the governments, especially not the U.S. government, to play a parental role in the world and decide for people. It's up for... So my message to the Korean people would be, don't look to the government for your solutions. Look to each other, and we're one people, and we have to come up with the solutions on our own and make peace of our own accord.
Thank you.